What's up to all of my Leos out there? Welcome to Pulse of the Cosmos. I am your astrologer, Emily, and today we are going to be taking a look at the astrology surrounding this full moon in Pisces happening September 1st, 2nd of 2020, depending on where you are in the world. And for you guys, my Leos, this full moon is happening in your 8th house. So this is your 8th house of your kind of deepest wants, your most intimate needs and desires out of this life. And where we're looking at this energy being illuminated under Pisces, this house for you, we're looking to make sure that these wants, these needs, these desires that are kind of fueling a little bit of these motivations behind a lot of these transformations that we're going to be going through are connected to spaces that are truly spiritual and truly of the divine and truly guiding us into paths that are of the path that our transcendental soul is trying to impel us to grow into as part of our evolutionary path while we're here on this plane. And when we're looking at this beautiful sextile from the moon over to Uranus exact during this full moon, we are looking at Uranus over there in Taurus, your 10th house. This is the 10th house of your world. This is the 10th house of your long-term goals, your career life, your ambitions. So a lot of these little shifts and changes that we're being called to make in our lives throughout these times to kind of connect us to these more spiritual places are going to shift our world radically into these very positive, very aligned, very abundant spaces that Taurus loves, that Taurus energy loves to create. But we've got to go through some of the shifts and changes to get there first as part of the growth. And the sun is also making this beautiful trine over to Uranus as well. So while our intuitive faculties and our psychic powers are going to be really heightened under the energy of this full moon with Pisces and with Neptune over there for this full moon as well, not too far away, we've got a lot of psychic intuitive abilities really coming to the forefront. And this beautiful trine from the sun over to Uranus is giving us not only that psychic force, but that awareness, that heightened perception where we're starting to see elements of clarity in the directions that we're being impelled to grow in. We might not have the logic right all at once, but we're starting to feel kind of that call or that pull or even that feeling that this is kind of a divine space of inspiration that I need to lean into and explore as one of the divine gifts through these shifts that are coming about in my life. And we have some interesting aspects with Venus in opposition to Saturn for this full moon as well. And Venus is over there in Cancer, opposing Saturn in Capricorn. We're looking at Venus in Cancer in your 12th house, and then Saturn in Capricorn, your 6th. And Venus coming through the 12th house can leave you a little bit introspective. You can go really kind of internal and kind of looking at what relationships intuitively feel connected and divine. You can be really working to kind of align space within yourself to attract those kind of relationships that feel divine, that feel connected, that feel dreamy in a sense as they come through the 12th house. And when we're looking at the balance of the polarity of this axis over there with your 6th house where Capricorn is, we're connecting those relationships and we're connecting those ideals to a space where we really need to bring them into the physical reality as well and into our reality with that 6th house energy and see if the relationships, the partnerships, the projects that we're involved in our life make sense in our day-to-day life and our routines for our work structure. Is there really balance there? Are we living in some kind of fantasy land? So these are kind of things that can come to light throughout this full moon. But Venus is going to be moving this week into Leo, into your sign. And as Venus comes into Leo, she's going to be in your 1st house where you will be attracting a lot of relationships, a lot of people into your life. You'll experience a lot of encounters, a lot of socialization almost with just people coming into your life, almost like a magnet there. And that's kind of what this 12th house is preparation for, is we might have been going introspective and looking and examining what type of relationships do we want to attract to us in a sense that they're coming from the divine and that they're feeling spiritually resonant with us. But in any case, let's see here. I'm going to pull from the cards for you guys, my Leos, and see what's going on there for you guys. Okay, we pulled the 7 of Wands upright first. We pulled the 6 of Cups coming up next. And then we pulled Temperance. Okay, so this is really beautiful. Of course, we have the Seven of Wands coming up first, and you can see that this person is kind of on the defense here. That's kind of the imagery you get with all of these wands kind of coming out from underneath him, and he's like, oh, like I'm fighting these things off, and it can look very tense. It feels very tense, but what's happening here, if you're looking deeper into the meaning of the card, is that this figure is rising above all of this, is rising above all of these challenges. And this is like you, like this is like a manifestation of a lot of the work that you've been putting in, a lot of the obstacles that you've been working really hard to overcome and get through, especially since the end of 2017, since we've had all this action over there with Capricorn, your 6th house. But we're really coming into spaces where it feels very tense, and we're feeling like we're still having to kind of like bop those heads. What was that arcade game that you used to play? I can't even remember it. Whack-a-mole. But we're rising above the conflict. We're rising above the situation. You're rising above some of these confrontations and these conflicts in your life into better spaces. And the challenge here, we got these 6 of Cups. So interesting to me that we pulled the 6 of Cups here. When I pull the 6 of Cups, I always get like an air of kind of nostalgia when I pull this card. And when I'm pulling this in the challenge position, I'm getting a sense of the energy that there could be a sense of nostalgia that's almost painful for some of my Leos out there, and that might even be some of the stuff that they're kind of fighting off and trying to not pay so much attention to the nostalgia of this situation, but look at the reality of it and rise above it. Maybe some things have changed in a relationship, a partnership, a project you're involved in, and you're looking at past memories and you're seeing a lot of positive aspects, but you're not necessarily looking at the practical reality of the situation. That's what we're called to with our awareness right now over there with the Sun in Virgo, your 2nd house, looking at the relationships in our life, looking at the partnerships in our life, looking at the projects in our life that feed that true value and that feed that true worth, where it's more than just nostalgic, intermittent, positive memories. It's continual growth, and continual growth into new, beautiful memories, into new, beautiful directions. And that's what you're rising above these challenges to do here through this 6 of Cups energy. Things are definitely going to be coming together, and balance is going to be incorporated into your life. There's definite harmony and there's definite balance as we're opening up to the healing space of this full moon in Pisces and connecting that spiritual energy to our wants, needs, and desires and our goals. We pulled the Temperance card next. And I love this card. It's so beautiful because it speaks of an internal balance, an internal and eternal balance between these 2 cups, just a constant balance back and forth. And there's a peace. There's a definite peace to this card. And it's interesting because the Latin root word of temperance, I believe, is tempere, which means to kind of combine or to mix together. But it's mixing elements together that already exist. It's not necessarily keeping a balance of everything out here, but it's creating that inner space of security and balance and peace within ourselves as we're rising above some of these situations that have been really conflicting and maybe even restricting us in a lot of ways, and kind of rising above old past situations and old past memories and old past, things that might be getting in the way from us growing into these new directions. We're opening up space for the new, and we're opening up space to kind of incorporate that balance into our lives. And as we do that within, it'll manifest without in the environment around us. But in any case, I love you guys all so much, my Leos. I hope you're doing well out there, and I will be back next time.